Hey guys, in this video we'll be continuing with the Python tutorials. We'll be going over returning a list from a function. Excuse me, so a function can return a reference to a list. This gives you the ability to write a function that creates a list and adds elements to it. So basically it's like a type you can return, like a string, a boolean, or an int or a float. Basically you can just return a list, I believe, so let's just do an example. So before the example, I'll just say a little bit more of the description. So basically you can write a function that creates a list and adds elements to it, then return a reference to the list so other parts of the program can work with it. That's pretty much it. So we can just create a function and return a reference to it, to the list. So we'll create a function and it'll return a list. Alright, so let's just, I'm in pycharm again as usual, so we'll just have a main function, def main. And we'll have, we'll just have a value called, a variable called numbers. Actually, we can just call it val. Val points to a function called, so let's just comment this out for a sec. So we'll have val points to get vals, like that. So we'll print the, so we'll say that the vals in the list are. So then we'll print val. So the vals in the list are, actually, so we'll call it vals. And then we'll call this vals too. Up here. So we'll just have, it's going to be a list. Actually, I think it's a list. But that's fine anyway. So we'll have vals points to get. So the function get vals, we'll print the vals are, then we'll print the list after that. So initially we'll have to create that function, or else it won't be printing anything out. We could just continue for now, and then we'll come back to that function. So we'll just have so the numbers in the list are, actually so we already did that. So print, then we're printing vals. So it's wondering what vals is. So let's just create that before the compiler gets confused. So we'll just have a function here, def get vals. Actually, let's just do it like that. Def get vals, and then we'll have vals points to an empty list. So we'll create a variable to control the loop. So we'll just have again str points to y, lowercase y. So here we'll have a for loop, we'll have a while loop, so we'll have while again is equal to lowercase y. We could also do or again is equal to uppercase y, so either or. That should be like that. So then we'll get a number and add it to the list. So we'll have val points to int, cast it to the input function. We'll say enter a number or a value, whatever. I guess it's a number. Let's just say a whole number. Oh, just say value's fine. So we'll just have enter a value. Doesn't really matter, whatever you want, and then we'll have vals.append, so it's going to add to the end of the list. We'll pass val to the end of the list. Then we'll have a print statement. We'll say, do you want to add another number to the list? And we'll have again points to input, to the input function, and we'll say enter y slash n. So yes or no, basically enter y slash n. That should be it. Then we'll return vals at the end. So that's how we return the list, is that we're just returning vals like that. So this is vals, we're returning the list at the end of our function. That's it. So all you have to do is just return it, just like any other variable pretty much. So what's wrong with this? Oh yeah, so is that the problem? Nope. Oh, so I think there's a spelling mistake here, so we'll just fix that. Is that the problem? No. Oh, whoops, there's a problem. Okay, so it's again str, and I spelled it wrong everywhere. Okay, so that should be it. So let's just save that and then run it. Whoops, I forgot to call main, so we'll just down here we'll just call main like that. So enter value 1. We'll hit y, 2, y, 3, and should have stopped there, shouldn't it? Should have stopped, I think. Okay, I think something's not in, it's still in the loop, but it shouldn't be. Where is it? Okay, here we go. So again, str, I think that's the problem. I keep spelling it wrong. Enter value, so we'll just go 1. y2, y3, y4, n. Then we'll hit n. So the values in the list are 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. I think that's pretty much it. So that's how you return a list. So again, we had a variable pointed to a function called getVals. Do you really need to walk through this? We could walk through it actually. So I'll just set a breakpoint there. I'll click the debug icon. Problem is that this text is so small in the debugger, so it's so annoying. Okay, so we're stepping into that main function. Now we're in main. So vals, the variable vals is going to point to the getVals function, which means it's going to jump to the getVals function, and whatever is returned at the end is going to be stored in vals, which is basically going to point to a list. Then vals, right now vals is waiting to know its type, but at the end, once vals is returned, then val is basically going to be a list. Vals will be a list like this one. Again, this is local to getVals, this vals is local to getVals, and this vals is local to getMain. So at the end, main will have its own vals list, which is basically copied from this list. So we'll step in here. Vals points to an empty list. I'll step over. You can see vals there at the bottom in our variables. It's a list, and it's saying that it doesn't say what type it is yet, I think. So now I'll step over. So again, str, again string is going to point to y, which it's going to say it's a string. And then it points to, again, string is a string, it points to lowercase y. So now it's going to check while again string is equal to either lowercase y or again string is equal to uppercase y. So it's going to check that condition, check if it's true. In this case, it is true because again string points to y, so it'll step in if I click step in. So now val is creating a variable here called val points to it's going to look for an int. When I step over, I'm going to have to click the console button, enter an int here. I'll hit 1 and enter. I'll click the debugger button again. So vals.append val. So vals is a list again. It's going to append, which means it's going to add to the end of the list val. So val is an int that we just stored, which is 1. So I'll step over that. So now if we check our list, we have our vals list. If I expand it in the variables, it's telling us, I think, that we have one element in there. It's an int storing 1 and the length is 1. So it gives some more data about the list. So now I'll step over this print statement. Do you want to add another number to the list? That's going to come up on the console. It should have. Yeah, there it is. Do you want to add another number to the list? Hopefully you guys can see this. I'll just expand that because sometimes, hopefully you guys could see that because I had a problem with one of the videos where the debugger wasn't showing up. So hopefully it is. I'll check it after. If there was a chance that you did miss it, you can just download, or hopefully you have pycharm already. You can just write this code out exactly the way it is. Set a breakpoint there at main, click the debug icon in the top right corner, and then just step over and step in like I've been doing. With the step over and step in buttons, you'll see the variables pop up in the console, sorry, in the debugger console, I guess. So once again, we're now at line 13. Again, string points to input, enter Y or N, so I'll step over that. I'll click the console button. I will enter Y. I'll hit enter. So now again, string is going to point to Y. It's going to check this condition again. It's going to loop back from here. Back up right there to line, it's going to loop from basically line 13 to line 9. It's going to check now if if again string points to Y or is equal to Y. Since it is, it's true, it's going to step in. If it was false, it would skip, but it's true, so it'll step in. So now val points to, now val is going to point to another value. So val is going to change from 1 to the new value that we're going to enter now. I'll step over, click the console, enter a value, I'll hit 2. So as you can see, val has changed to 2. In our variables, it's an int. It's going to append that to vals if I step over. So it's going to append that 2 to the end of the list. If we check the list, we have 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 2 has been added to the end. It's now telling us the length is 2. Do you want to add another number to the list? I'll step over. That'll come up in the console. That'll print an alert to the user. We can see it in the console here, and then again string now points to the input function, enter another string for the control string basically. So I'll step over that. It's going to wait for input. I'll enter N this time. So now if we check our again string, it points to N. So while again string, so now the condition is it's gonna loop back up here, and it's gonna check if again string points to Y. In this case, it points to N. Thus, this line is false, which means again this whole block will get skipped to line 14. So I'll step over. So return vals. So now it's gonna return vals. To vals now points to so vals points to get vals, which get vals return the list vals. This local vals return the list. So get vals return that list which was local to get vals, named vals. Now this new separate variable vals, which is different than this vals. It's local to main. It's going to point to get vals, whatever get vals returned, which is that list with 1 and 2 in it. And then it's going to print the values, or the vals in the list are. So we have the vals in the list are. I'll step over, it'll print out 1 and 2. And that's the end of the code. So as you can see, what I did there is I stepped through the debugger to show you how the process works. So hopefully that helps. If you guys like the video, you can like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.